So this is Jez's revision A board. It's got a weird reset problem. I've got the DFB1X in just to show what the reset's doing on there, so when that light is on, the white one, it's in reset. On the scope the reset line is going absolutely nuts, and this is on the output of the inverter. Now the scope is on one side of C7. Strange. Obviously the reset switch is actually working. Full voltage, and now it's reset. That's very strange. It is actually a new reset switch, so I don't believe that's the problem. That just glitched then, but the actual Falcon didn't crash. Now it's just reset and it's gone back again. Oh, now it's going mad again. So what I've actually done is removed one end of C7 just in case that was intermittently shorting out. I've placed a 1k resistor across resistor number 5, which is normally a 10k, so I've just pulled the reset line up to 5 volts just to make it a bit stiffer there, and basically that should be absolutely stable, and obviously it's not. Now if I take the scope off, bear with me a second, measure pin 1, that's currently 0. There we go, pin 1 of U2. So as I'm pressing the reset switch in, it's absolutely fine. That's on the input of the inverter, but obviously on the output of the inverter it's going completely nuts, and it's got such a strong pull up on it now of 1k that should be high all the time. So I can only assume at this point that the inverter itself is somehow faulty. So I'm probably going to cut the track output of the inverter or lift the pin just to isolate it from the 555 so it's not actually resetting the 555 continuously, and we'll give that a try and get back to you all in a moment. Okay, so as a recap, it works there fine off the reset switch. That is pulsing like mad. C7 has been totally removed. That resistor has a 1k across it, and now I've just lifted pin 2 of there because I suspect U2 is faulty. It probably won't show up on camera very well, but I've lifted pin 2 up there. The reset circuit probably isn't going to work because it's going to be reset as soon as it's turned on, so I'll probably have to short out that with a piece of wire or something to actually trigger the reset, but let's just see what happens anyway. Okay, so it's stuck in reset. That's not going to do anything now because it's disconnected. So now we need to short that out. I wonder if that will just short that, as that's flat anyway. So we've reset, but we're still going completely nuts. Interesting. So pin 2, I can get a scope on that. Oh, what happened there? Pin 2. Pin 2 is totally flat, but it's not got a pull up on it now, so it'll not be that. That'll just be low all the time, so that's correct. So put my probe back on. Oh, bear with me a second. So now the scope is on that point. That track is completely isolated. There's nothing else there really, because if that diode was open circuit, that'll be pulled high via the resistor. If that diode was short circuit, it'd be pulled high by the diode anyway. If it was leaky, it'd still be pulling high. So why is that track there, or that point, pulsing like mad? Maybe the 555 chip's faulty, because I'm actually measuring the input, so that's interesting. I have to have a little bit of a think about that one. I was just looking at the LM555 datasheet, and pin 2, the trigger input, there doesn't seem to be any other way that that could be triggered internally on the 555. So I think what I'll do is I'll take out the 555 completely and keep my meter probe on that track that's connected to pin 2 and see if the waveform is still acting up. So I've lifted pin 2 of the 555, which is the trigger input. It is still going completely nuts, and yet bizarrely we've now reset fine. So this is very weird, because pin 2 of the 555 is lifted, so that's isolated. Pin 2 of U2 is also isolated. C7, assuming I've actually pulled a correct capacitor up, is totally isolated. R5 is actually 1K, which is where I've got the scope probe on that point there. I can't imagine the diode causing that, but maybe it is, because there's absolutely nothing left in the circuit, and yet the reset line is going completely nuts. Obviously it's all machines reset and got to desktop, so that's absolutely fine now. So maybe that diode is faulty. So I'll lift that top end to rule that out and see what happens there. It can't seem to make up its mind what it's doing at the moment. So let's lift that diode up and see what happens. Okay, so diode now lifted up. The scope is still on the back end of that capacitor. So let's see what we get now. Turn on. We've reset there. Yeah, we've booted up there. And still going mental. So by all accounts there's absolutely nothing connected to that point other than that resistor. I don't think VCC, the other end of that resistor, is broken. but maybe it is. But saying that, it wouldn't matter because I've got a resistor from there to the top end of that diode, so it's pulling it high anyway. So why are we getting this weird pulse? I say I'm assuming I've lifted the correct capacitor here. It was a bit odd to see. It says C6 there, but I'm assuming C6 is that one. C, well, it's under the crystal, which is of no help. I'm assuming that's the right point anyway. Now that will be because that track will still be connected to there, so when the switch is connecting pin 2 and 3, that will pull that line down to 0, so pretty sure that's the right capacitor. Press the reset switch, goes to 0, so that's the correct capacitor. So what else is left? This is completely bizarre. Unless there's something in close proximity on the track somewhere which is contacting and it's shorting out somewhere, but bit dark to see at the moment. But yes, it is a very strange one indeed. I'll just double check the other side of this is 5 volts steady. Yeah, that's absolutely steady, so we've definitely got 5 volts there. Diodes lifted, scope probes there. We're pulled up from that point to VCC with a 1K resistor, so there's nothing left, surely. I mean, I suppose, could that gate be faulty? That's the only thing that's left connected, but I'll see if I can measure pin 3 and see what that's doing, but I should think as the reset switch is working, then I'd assume that gate's fine. So number 3, let's see if I can scope that. Right, I'm on pin 3 of U2, and surprisingly it is still going nuts. Actually no, because it's connected anyway, isn't it? That line's connected to there, but could that be faulty and it's feeding back that way? Pin 4 output is connected to pin 1. I'm pretty sure pin 1's fine. So pin 1 of U2 is flat. Yeah, so it's difficult to hold everything at once here. Let's try this. You can just see the scope there, so press the reset button, goes high, so the reset switch is working fine, so that's not a problem. So again, that point there is working fine. There's absolutely nothing else in the circuit, so why is it going nuts? I think I'll have to have a think about this and do a part 2 to this video. So we'll see you in the next part.